I was gonna try to keep holding it to see how long I could go, but that's so freaking. Tom, you're shaking that. You're shaking the table.
Sorry.
What's up, guys? Long time no flippin' see.
How's everybody?
My gosh. I mean, that's obviously my fault. You know, I think we all have that friend in life who's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. And it's like, yeah, it's your fault. Yeah, it's like, you're the one who's busy. I'm that in this situation. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you guys in forever. But it's my fault. So apologies. So much has been going on, though. Like, now has not been a good time for me to be busy because... Guys, I'm specifically using a mouse today so that we don't shake the screen, and Tom's over here doing everything possible to try to shake the screen.
I'm pulling up the chat.
Anyway, yeah, so it's not a great time for me to be busy. Obviously, being busy is good. Means good things are happening. But it's like there's so much happening. I am overstimulated. We're on overload. We have Houses of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings. We're going to have Andor very shortly. So much amazingness is going on, and it's just like, oh my God, I need to just be on YouTube like for the whole month of September. Frankly, from now until through like November, because that's how long Andor's going to be running. Nic Gundy, what's up? Oh, hey, it's Cat and Tom. By the way, 2 weeks till the Andor. Know. Could you imagine though? Because Andor was supposed to come out August, correct?
Nope.
It was originally
supposed to be out.
Going to be out by now. Could you imagine? I'm kind of glad. I feel like all the executives on all the different streaming apps were like, look, we're dropping House of the Dragon. We're dropping the Rings of Power. Somebody's got to forfeit and backtrack and delay their release till late September because this is too much. I would not be like alive right now if all of those shows were happening at once. That would not be good. So, but yes, it's been a long while. How's everyone been? How's everyone's summer been? Jared, what's up? Are you still gonna play Alien Isolation? Probably. I want to do a bunch of like scary stuff during October. I have this whole idea in my head, which if it's actually gonna work, I need to start like meal planning videos now. Like the meal prep equivalent of video making. Because I have this vision in my mind. I want to do like a React-tober and watch a different like scary movie or play scary video games like every day of the month of October. But that is not realistic. I would not sleep the whole month. Like it would not be healthy. But maybe I start doing it now in increments and then I just release those videos in October. But yes, I do want to play that because y'all know I'm bad at video games to begin with. But if we were playing a scary video game, that would be quite entertainment. Quite entertainment. So yeah, so that's the idea that I have in my head, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. Look, who's all here? We're gonna give shout-outs to the gang. Sean, Charlie, I saw Alice, Nic Gundy, of course, Nicholas Brown, Jared, HJD97, who am I missing? Preston, Revan just got here. Let's go. Gang is all here. Yeah, how's everyone been? It's so good to see you guys. Oh, wait, I missed a couple. Never mind. We read Nic Gundy's. Charlie, remember that's right, 12 months. I said this last month when I was like, oh my God, next month is going to be the year milestone for members. Oh my gosh. Congrats. Freaking shout out to Charlie. I'll give him another public shout out later as we progress into tonight's topic. But another milestone. Missed you guys. House of the Dragon. Yes. Epic. Rings of Power. Epic. Andor. Epic. So happy. Also, I got you covered, Cat. You know my friend. Also looking forward to Halloween. Yes. I'll give Charlie that shout out now because we can use that as our segue into tonight's discussion, but we're obviously here. The title of the stream is, we're talking about Rings of Power. I really want to talk about it, and we were having some good.
That's good. I didn't know what the title was. So
no, we're talking about Rings of Power.
Right, cool.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's our conversation for this evening. Our topic. And Tom and I, it was funny. We were out to dinner last weekend, and we started talking about good like stream topics, and we were on a roll. We were having a really good conversation about just fandoms and the differences between like fandoms that come from books versus fandoms that come from movies and then have subsequent books. we were on a roll, and I was like, we gotta stop, because this is perfect content for like a dork discourse, and we hadn't done one in so long. So I was like, let's save it.
That was a good conversation.
Yes, but anyway, I need to publicly give Charlie the biggest shout out because he has been so helpful. And I'll just be transparent with you guys. Like, maybe about a month ago, it was actually when I met Alex. Yeah, 80 edits in all this time that has passed since we last streamed. I've met Alex in real life, which was really awesome. He's super cool. Sad that we don't live closer together, but when I met, we were talking about Rings of Power, and I was even saying, I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna film reactions or even attempt to talk about Lord of the Rings on my channel, because wowie kazowie, I thought the Star Wars fandom had some rough patches. And I'm proud to be part of the Star Wars fandom. I love Star Wars, but the Lord of the Rings fandom, I had no idea. There is a lot to unpack over there. So I was very hesitant. From the reception that I had gotten from the only like 2 times I talked about Rings of Power on the channel, which was just for the trailers, not even the actual series alone, I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this. Because I was scared. I was just being a coward about the backlash I would face. God forbid I actually liked the show. And so I need to just give Charlie the biggest shout out, because I'm sure it's common knowledge, every YouTube creator, you can see your public comments, but then you also can see banned comments or comments that have been limited or hidden because they're mean and offensive and just not respectful or productive in any way. And I was really not looking forward to the comments on my Rings of Power reactions, but Charlie stepped in and he was really monitoring that comment section and just took out anyone who, I want to make it clear, we weren't censoring people. I made a blatant, explicit instruction in my description. All I requested was respect and just be nice. Be nice to each other. I don't care how you feel about the show, but just be nice. So anyone who was being, not nice, the furthest thing from nice, Charlie went in there and infinity snapped them out, and I just so appreciate it because he was doing the work that I didn't want to do, and so I didn't have to see some of those comments that were super cruel and mean and just not productive or respectful in any ways. And it really just, I wanted to cry. I was just like, oh my god, Charlie, he was putting in the work. So I want to just give him a public shout out and thank you, because he doesn't have to do that. He uses his own time to do that. I thought Rick and Morty fans were nasty. Can I get a shout out just for being too cool? Of course, Revan. I had to double check the username after the fiasco the last time we streamed when Tony was here, and I just jumped right at giving him a shout out. F's in the chat if you remember that altercation. But anyway. But yes, so I guess we could just segue into talking about just peaceful, relaxed, talking about the Rings of Power, because we are both big Lord of the Rings fans, big fans of Middle-earth. One thing about the Lord of the Rings fandom is it seems like there's a lot of diehard Tolkien fans who aren't acting elitist, but they're very like, I read the books, you clearly didn't. Like, that seems to be a big energy, which is kind of different, because I feel out of place because the Star Wars fandom is just, it's all over the place all the time, but there's no like books. Yes, you can read the lore and the legends, comics, whatever. You can really deep dive if your heart desires to educate yourself or just learn more, get more backstory, lore, whatever you want to do. But nobody ever really uses that in the Star Wars fandom to be like, I've read more comics than you, so you're not a real fan. It's usually more like, you like The Last Jedi, so you're not a real fan. It's like, oh, you like X movie, you like X show, you're not a real fan. But with the Tolkien fandom, it's like, oh, if you didn't read the lore, God forbid you have an opinion. You can't talk about it if you didn't read the literature. So I've been nervous being, that's part of the reason I've been nervous. Like, to talk about it on my channel because I did not read the Lord of the Rings books yet, but I'd finished the Silmarillion leading into before I watched Rings of Power, because literally Secret Time Rings of Power, it came out on Thursday, right, when we thought it was coming out on Friday. So I had scheduled my reading. I bought the Silmarillion. Tom can attest to this. I bought that book back in like March. I was like, let's go, we're pre-gaming now. I'm gonna read this between now and then. This is gonna be my summer reading. I read the first few pages and then didn't pick it up again until last week, Wednesday. I was like, all right, I gotta finish this before Friday because I thought it was coming out Friday in the US. But it turns out, no, it was coming out like Friday European time because it came out like Thursday evening in the US. And so I literally was like, I don't know what to do. But I didn't watch it until I finished the Silmarillion. Because I was like, I want to have backup. I want to know that I've read some of the lore so that if I get dunked on by Tolkien fans, I can at least say I read a little bit about this. Alice, yes, OMG, the Silmarillion is so crazy. I have a notebook and pen to note things down. It was an awesome read. I've never read anything that literally so casually covers just 2,000 years worth of, like, not 2,000, but it'll be like 200 years went by after that in the span of like 2 paragraphs, and you have to just be like, oh, okay, time jump.
Yeah.
But I read that thinking it was gonna really beef up my preparedness, and then, but now the show is covering only like 50 pages worth of the time from the Silmarillion, so I was like, I read all that for this, but it was still really good. So with that said, I want to read the actual Lord of the Rings books. But that said, I'm seeing I don't want to talk about this negatively, but I'll just say I read the Silmarillion, and yeah, there's a lot of amazing content in there that I would love to see depicted in live action like Star Wars someday. But even just the first opening prologue narrated by Galadriel, and you see some of the great battles that were going on. You see it only like 20 seconds of it, but even just that 20 seconds was like, oh my god, this is like, I'm living for this, like this, pump this into my veins. So I was loving that, and I'm just excited to have Lord of the Rings content. Like, part of the reason I'm so bamboozled about where the Lord of the Rings fandom is coming from is because we've been dormant for so long. It's like we've had nothing to talk about since the Hobbit trilogy. So now all of a sudden, why is everyone just coming for each other's throats? Like, let's just be happy, like, that this is happening, you know? I'll let Tom talk about it. Obviously, you guys can see in my reactions, I've been enjoying the show. I think it's only going to get better. Second episode, not that the first episode was bad, but like, you know, second episode to have, let's just say we all have seen Mandalorian season 2, where it was like first episode amazingness, the second episode was like, we were all like, ah! So we all know what it's like to have like a great starter, and then things, oh, it kind of like cools down a little bit. But no, like Lord of the Rings of Power had a great starter and it got even better, which gives me hope that it's gonna just keep going on that trajectory. So I will let Tom share some of his thoughts, because we've not really talked much about it beyond visuals. Yes, I second that, Nicholas. Like, visually, I think it looks great. Take it away.
Yeah. So you had a good argument on. Catherine's very in tune to. I said Catherine. That sounded weird saying on stream, but
Yeah, I'm right here.
She's a very big. Oh, there's shows coming out or there's movies coming out. Oh, let me read the books and let me catch up on everything prior to it coming out. Versus, you know, my perspective is, I don't want to read anything before it comes out, because, as the saying goes, the movie is never better than the book. The movie's always worse. So I think that you have to approach it in a reverse logic. And if you go in totally blind, not knowing the backstory outside of having seen Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies and played video games and whatever, Then you go into the show and you're saying, okay, since I'm literally seeing it with my own two eyes, I'm seeing what's happening. This is the fact. And then if you love it, then you go to the book and all the other material, and then you deep dive into it. And then all of that is written accounts and tales of what happened. And so basically the book can only enhance the movie or the show. Like, there's going to be differences, but in my brain, it's like, it's harder to justify that the book differences take precedent over the film differences, because you're literally seeing the characters and you're seeing everything happening on the screen, versus a book, it's all in your imagination anyway. And two people can read the book and have different visuals and interpretation of what is actually happening, because the book, people can interpret tones of voice differently and thoughts differently and actions differently. But on the screen, it's much less up to interpretation. It's much more up to the creator's vision of what the message is and how it comes across. So like, if you read a book and then watch something, at least from my experience, every time I'm watching something, I'm like, oh, this is different than the book. Why is this different than the book? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Versus starting with the visual TV, movie, whatever. If you start there and then you go back and read the book, then it's, okay, here's all this extra detail, even if certain things are tweaked that are in the book and not in the film. So my my head and my brain works in a way that says, okay, I'm literally seeing this. This is the fact. This is the actually what happened. But then the written material and the comics and video games and whatever else is all, this is based on the fact, and it's there to enhance the fact. And based on who's reading it and who wrote all these tales could have interpreted things differently. Like, people get hung up on, like, when stories span over huge leaps and bounds of time. I think a good example is like Obi-Wan in A New Hope versus Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith. Like, there's pieces of dialogue when Obi-Wan and Luke first like meet and they have their conversation, where he says, like, I don't seem to remember owning a droid, and there's all these little bits of dialogue as people are like, well, he knows this droid, he is experiencing this, like, he has a relationship with this droid, like, what is he talking about? But if you think about in the character's perspective, it's been 20 years, and in his mind, he is, Luke doesn't need to know, or he's trying to be mysterious, and like, time changes people and things, and so if just because a line of dialogue changes in a movie, like, it doesn't mean it's a plot hole. It's real life. Like, if you ask me what we're talking about right now in this stream 20 years from now, I would have no freaking idea. I'm gonna be like, oh, we're talking about Lord of the Rings, talking about, new show came out, talking about blah, 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 blah. But am I gonna, if someone said, oh, you said this exact thing 20 years ago in this stream, would I be able to say that I definitely did for certain, just out of my memory? Definitely not me. So yeah, so I think, like, if you're seeing the material with your eyes, it's on TV, it's in the movie theater, wherever, like, that's the fact, because everybody's seeing and hearing the same thing. But the book, like, everybody reads a book and comes out with different interpretations and different feelings. So,
yeah.
So,
but that's the problem. I think, and I saw somebody say this on Twitter, and they said it perfectly. And this is the conversation you and I were having at dinner last weekend. Like, if you're a reader, you have to acknowledge that your brain is going to visualize. No two readers are going to think the same, have the same vision. And so somebody on Twitter pointed out, everything is an adaptation. But that does not mean that it's going to be your adaptation. Like, if you're not creating it, it's not going to look like what you had in mind. Like, whoever gets a hold of that script and says, let's make this show, it's going to be an adaptation, and it's not maybe going to replicate exactly how you visualized things. And I think people are, like, not grasping that. I don't know.
Yeah. HJD agrees.
Yeah, I wanted you to see that comment, that it's always better to watch.
Yeah.
Afterwards. And then somebody asked you, Sudden Impulse asked, they want your perspective on how good of a job you thought the world building was. Oh no, they just got rid of it. I was reading it out loud. But they wanted to know what you thought as a non-reader, if you understood. They said that some of their family didn't know, like, wasn't following what was going on. So for you not having read, but even if you read like Silmarillion, for example, a lot of these characters are made up. They're not in the Silmarillion. Some are new for the sake of the show. Yeah, there it is. They put it back in the chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't want to spam. No, it's okay. I wanted to get to that. It was a good question. So yeah, what are your as a non-reader?
I mean, I think it's tough. I wonder if sudden impulse, if your family is like familiar with the movies, or are they going into this completely blind? Because as someone who loves both Lord of the Ring and the Hobbit movies, and have played countless Lord of the Ring related video games,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't know exactly in the first episode, like, the names of locations and things, but you know, I was able to piece together the gist of the story, and mainly because of the way Return of the King ends off, where, you know, obviously they sail west out of the Grey Havens, and this, like, when they got to the point of, oh, like, we live in this, you know, world before the actual world exists, and then they sail east, like, in my mind at that moment, I was like, oh, so this is where they go at the end of Return of the King. Like, they're sailing here, the land of the elf origin story. And so, like, I was able to piece that together. But then, like, on first watch, I mean, it just jumps such vast amount of time, like, just talking about, you know, Morgoth and just the whole war and how it ravaged Middle Earth. Like, I mean, I don't really know anything that specifically happens, but, like, I was just on board with the fact, and it made sense that, okay, there was this giant war, he came and attacked the elves in their homeland, so they went to Middle Earth and attacked him, and it was a whole, like, 1,000-year war or whatever. And then in the aftermath, after it was over, then like, the orcs remained, and then Sauron rose to power. And then, you know, because of that, Galadriel and the gang went out seeking to find Sauron, and then that took centuries as well, I guess.
Yeah.
So I kind of, like, first viewing, it was definitely, you know, I don't think it clicked right away, but when they showed the maps were huge. The maps really helped orient everything. But as soon as they showed the map of them sailing east towards Middle Earth, I was like, okay, it makes sense now. We're talking, like, origin story of the elves, and then it's full circle, because this is where they go at the end of Return of the King. So
Yeah.
that's what really glued it together.
Yeah, it's interesting because that whole they kind of summed up the entirety of the Silmarillion, the first, like, 90% of the Silmarillion, in basically, like, 2 lines, and Galadriel's, like, prologue, like, things got bad, Morgoth was bad, so we had to leave. But yeah, greetings from Croatia, let's go!
Nice.
You're up early or late? It's like middle of the night-ish. Well, thank you for being here, regardless.
Yeah, Sudden Impulse agrees with the maps. Like, the map transition is so critical. Like, and every single place that they're talking about, like, referencing the names, like, if you throw it on a map, like, I have no clue what any of the names of the places are at all. But then, like, they would show the map, and then watching, like, Nerd of the Rings on YouTube, shout out to that
Oh my
legend.
gosh, yes.
Like, all his videos are okay, we're in this story, we're in this place, it's these characters, but before setting the scene, here's the map. Here's where we're on the map.
Yeah.
And then, like, all the scenes with the orc and the elves and the tunnel and all that stuff, like, that's in Mordor. That stuff is in Mordor before it transitions to the Mordor that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the green Mordor with, you know, different, you know, villages of
pre-Mordor.
men living in
Yeah.
in Mordor, and then this is like setting up that story where the cow is sick, and there's these concerns and goo and all this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just really setting it up in a really cool way.
Aiden, what's up? Glad you could be here. Good luck on your date. Hope all goes well. Also, I hope school's been going well, because I know those of y'all who are in college, university, for the most part, should have started your fall semester by now. So I hope everything's going well in that front. Jerry, what's up? Good to see you here. By the way, the orcs look absolutely terrifyingly beautiful. Yeah, I was like shaking in my boots during that scene with the. Oh yeah, I guess we should have. It came out a week ago. Spoilers, but I mean, I'm sure people will know that if it's the subject of tonight's stream, there will probably be spoilers. But yeah, but also everyone knows there's going to be orcs in this show because they showed them in the trailer. So, but yes, that orc, and it looked practical. It looked like a person with a mask, with makeup, prosthetics, in a costume, and that's what I missed about the Hobbit movies. The orcs are entirely CGI for the most part in that film. Yes, they are. You can tell. You can tell. And I have come around, and I do enjoy the Hobbit movies now. And I feel like the aesthetic of this show, there's something about it that it is more reminiscent for me of the Hobbit in terms of cinematography, color schemes, color palettes. Like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy is way more grungy and dark and gritty and cloudy, and it doesn't have the breadth of we're seeing different palettes for the elves versus the Southlands, establishing different themes and settings with color schemes. So it's similar for me to the Hobbit in that regard. But it's still different. I will give them that. Like, it's a different vibe, different tone, different. You know what I'm laughing about. I loved your reaction to the orcs cat. I was so scared, but I hope there's more of that. I like the original Lord of the Rings, and maybe this is also because I started watching. My younger brother was 3 years old when we started watching Lord of the Rings. Like, I was 6. I thought those films were terrifying, because they are. Like, the practical effects with the orcs, the orcai, like, it's scary. Lots of scary stuff happening when you're 6 and even when you're not 6. If an orc was going to chase me down the street, I'd say sayonara, because I'm not going to win against an orc. That would be truly terrifying even now as an adult, not as a child. So I hope that this show starts to get a little scarier. Like, that we don't know what happened to Arondir, what took him. I hope meat is back on our menu, boys. No one can read that line, not in that voice. Looks like meat's back on up. I love it. I've been a Tolkien geek for 45 years. Love the Rings of Power. Don't care if they take liberties. Fine if it improves the drama. I love that mindset. I love it. And that's not to say if you've been a fan for forever and you're not enjoying it, that you're wrong. Everyone, you can have your opinions however long you've been a fan, but I enjoy. It's been good to hear from people who are avid, diehard Tolkien fans and that have that mindset. Like, let's just be open. It's fine to be open-minded. And, we did get into that conversation, though, about, yes, you can always... Why is it so different coming from books to page to screen for a fandom? Like, why is that? Why do people hold that more passionately versus like Star Wars, for example, where the source material is the original trilogy, like, and you have the films, and if you deviate from films, that makes people angry, versus books. Like, something about having book and literature backstory.
When you take a book to the screen, you're taking the same story and telling it again. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Versus Star Wars, there was no story but what George created for the movies.
Yeah. Speaking of sidebar, has anyone been watching? We're so late, but we started that ILM documentary, and it's so cool on Disney Plus. I feel like they didn't market it properly. They should have.
They had a whole panel celebration.
Did they? But I didn't realize it was literally
really
gonna be a documentary on the making of the effects, and I thought it was. I didn't realize that it was gonna be so in depth and behind the scenes of the production of A New Hope. Anyway, sidebar, very cool. Highly recommend if you've not started it yet. But yeah, but like, see, it's just, you know, it is tough, I guess, having books, knowing how the story goes. But it's interesting with Rings of Power because, before I dive in, TMoney member for 12 months. Let's go. It's so good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in so long. I hope school's been going well. Hello there, Tom and Kat. Hope you both are doing well. Starting my internship in about a week or so. I'm glad my summer classes are over. They were, yeeks. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, good luck with your internship.
Yeah.
Enjoy your downtime while you have a little bit. That's exciting. That's awesome. The ILM documentary skipped over the prequels. Oh my gosh. We're only like 2 episodes in. Dang nabbit, why? Oh man. Now I'm upset.
Yeah, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, I told my brain to hold my thought, and now I didn't. I don't
Talking
know.
about books to movies.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's gone. If it comes back. Opinions are great. Just don't be an a-hole about it. Amen, Charlie. ILM making is awesome. I can't wait for tomorrow. Kenobi making. Oh my gosh, that's right. Too much stuff. Too much stuff is happening. Oh my gosh. Like, hoy. Oh my gosh. Too much. Oh, I would love something like ILM that focuses only on droids and aliens. Yes. Like, you could have a docu-series on every aspect of production with costuming department, like makeup, the prosthetics, the 3D models, the masks, everything that they make from scratch. I mean, everybody involved in a Star Wars production could have their own documentary behind the scene. Though I'm sad the weather is getting colder. Hey, come out here to California. It's only getting hotter. Literally, the clock.
Supposed to have a hurricane this weekend.
Clock struck set. Are we? Let's go. Are we really?
Allegedly.
I'm so excited. Come on, bring it on.
Which is very unusual.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
Yes. But yeah, I think but yeah, open-mindedness. That's what I was saying. If you just go in, oh, this is what I was going to say. There's a lot of wiggle room to be open-minded about the story, especially if you're coming from the... Again, this is also just me coming from just reading the Silmarillion, and again, I haven't read the original Lord of the Rings books and their appendices, but in the Silmarillion, you'll read 5 pages and it'll cover 400 years time span. And so there's a lot of wiggle room for like, okay, what's some little minutia? What are some just details that were covered in that time period? And so I can see why some people might be like, this wasn't in the books, or like, this isn't what we pictured. This isn't Tolkien. That's a lot of argument. People saying that this is not Tolkien, but it's like Tolkien wrote 1 paragraph and it spanned 100+ years. Like, what was going on during that time? Like, there's a lot of time jumps, a lot of just like epic narration over a long span of time in history. Like, we can explore. Now, I know that there are some deviations from character descriptions, Galadriel being a big one, but I want to talk about her. Morfydd Clark is so amazing. Oh my god. I think my viewing experience has been made even better after we watched her on Stephen Colbert, right? Because he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, if I'm correct. So he had her on as a guest, and she was just so freaking lovely, like sweet. She had the biggest smile on her face. You could tell she's a fan. She was so excited, like so passionate, like, oh my god, literally I want to like be her friend. Like, she had the best energy she was emanating. So maybe that just like fueled my love for her character even more now watching the show. But she is giving the freaking best performance so far, like of everyone.
Yeah,
yes, she's had like more screen time. It's definitely been from like her perspective, the story. But I think she has been freaking amazing. She is just an effortless, like badass, commands your respect. Like super, like I just, before I keep going, I keep getting sidetracked. Aden, also a member for 12 months. Let's go. Life is going good right now. New major is a lot of fun. Work has been good. And yeah, just been hanging with friends and trying new things. I'm going to a massive art show. Oh, have fun.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. That'll be a great time. Yes. I don't think it's possible to make this show based on Tolkien's actual work, as he didn't write a book about this time period, from my understanding, because the Silmarillion is before the TV show and Lord of the Rings after. Exactly, like it's kind of, that was my biggest thing. Like I read the Silmarillion and I was like, none of this is in the show, because I had seen the marketing, obviously, in the trailers. And so I'm reading all of these incredible stories and lore in the Silmarillion, and I'm just like, none of this has been in the teasers, which leads me to believe it doesn't cover any of this age in the series. And that's what I was disappointed about, because there's some sweet stuff that happens with Morgoth and the original, like the OG elves and the battles and just like, oh, just such good lore. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be open-minded about like whatever they do want to focus on. But I understand they've deviated a little bit from what Galadriel's character has been described to be. I'm a little bit like sour about, she's older. She's OG. She's literally like born and bred from like the OG elf family. Like her family is the OGs. They are like elite elves. That's her family. But she's getting like sidelined by Elrond and Gil-galad, who are younger than her in terms of however 1,000 years old they all are. But like that's what is bothering me. I'm like, nobody would be, based on her backstory from the Silmarillion, she deserves way more respect than she's getting. Like, that's why I was so, in my reaction, I was like, how dare all of you, when they all like abandoned her and they were like, we're not helping you anymore. Like, I was just like, do they know who they're talking to? So that's my biggest, and that's not even a complaint, but that's just like like, what? Come on. Like, she deserves way more respect based on just like how legendary her character is in the book, like her background, where she comes from. So that's my biggest question as to why they're portraying it in that way, that she has to prove herself when really she's like, should be way more powerful than all these men essentially that are, which I know maybe that feeds into the woke aspect of it or whatever. I don't even want to use that word. But isn't she supposed to be like royalty? Yes. I thought that was odd how she keeps getting talked down to. Yeah, she like is royalty essentially. She comes from like the highest ranking elven family, like the disciples of the original elves, the first elves. What about the elf attack on the Wookiees? Not gonna lie, when fans started complaining about there being a black dwarf and the official Twitter page had to post about it, I stopped listening to people. Oh, I can't even with those arguments anymore. Like, I expended too much energy in the first place when people were complaining about that casting. I just think people are jealous because Arondir looks good and the black dwarf, she looked amazing. Like, I can't even entertain those arguments anymore. So I'm not even gonna dive into it because I could go off, but I am gonna conserve my energy. My first cat stream. Oh my gosh, JT Lovecraft, let's go.
JT, what up?
Great timing because we've not streamed for a long time, so you caught the first one in a while.
Welcome, sir.
Yes. Nobody wants to admit that they failed to defeat evil, so Galadriel is too darn smart and knows better. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I liked her. They definitely have elements that nod to the events of the Silmarillion. Like, she made a great point when she's talking with Elrond. She's like, we all get complacent, and that's when the darkness comes back. That's when Morgoth came back. That's how Sauron is coming back, because we all think everything's fine, and we're just pretending it's not happening. But that was literally the cycle of the Silmarillion. They would all, like, have these big epic battles and be like, whew, all right, we're done with that for a while. And then, like, the evil Morgoth would, like, go and rally again. Like, it was just a cycle. So I did like that nod to, like, her acknowledging the history of, we can't keep turning a blind eye to this. It's not over. But yeah. It was nice to see Lord of the Rings and Star Wars backing each other for the hatred and racism. It was so amazing to see. Yeah, I think it's clear. Like, the production, the studios, like Lucasfilm, there's... Because it's just stupid. It's just stupid things for people to be mad about. So, especially for, you know, for Moses Ingram, for Reva and whatnot. Especially even for someone like Ewan McGregor to make a statement was like was great to see. Sal, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, that bug is bothering me too. There has been a little gnat on one of... Stop! Oh. Just...
Problem solved.
Gosh. There's been a gnat on one of our lights, and I just keep staring at it for the past, like, 15 minutes. Sad that these things are still an issue. I know. It's... It is what it is. Robert is glorious. Yes, I think he's doing a really good job. I hope there's more from his character coming up. Someone in your reaction made a great comment about the guy on the shipwreck being Sauron shapeshifted to get Galadriel's trust. You know, I did see theories about that as I was looking for like pictures to use for like the thumbnails and stuff announcing when we were streaming. I saw a picture of Sauron and that guy, I think his name is Halbrand, like as it meant to be like a theory, like, oh, and I didn't even think about that. I was like, ah. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm seeing theories about the stranger. I'm seeing more people guessing about what his identity could be.
And there are definitely ties to Gandalf.
Yeah, I've seen
specifically the Firefly scene. Very very reminiscent of Mr. Gandalf.
Yeah.
So
true. I guess we'll have to see.
But I've also seen, like, I mean, basically every wizard I've seen people throw out.
Yeah.
You know? I think if it was Gandalf or Saruman, both would be cool.
Yeah. But I kind of don't want to have a concrete idea. I want it to be like, I don't want to buy into one theory and then do what I always do and convince myself that's what's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen. And I'm just going to let it play out. Have a great night, everyone. Hopefully we get some juicy Star Wars news this weekend. That's right. It's D23 tomorrow? No. Too much is happening. I can't keep track. All right, my biggest thing we all know they have it. I know it's sitting somewhere in their archives. Just drop the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. Like, we know it's... Half of the fandom has already seen it by now in elite format on YouTube. It's like...
Great trailer.
I would want to just publish it in all its glory in 4K.
Recommend watching it on the big screen. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'm freaking jealous. But that's my biggest hope. Can you... If nothing else, please just drop that. Please.
We gotta go back. We gotta back this up. Charlie. Axe or Old Spice spray?
Oh, we knew about this from a members only stream. I think we talked about it one time. Charlie says that's the surefire way to kill bugs.
Oh.
You just gotta spray them. Which, yes.
Did you tell him that I do that?
No,
'Cause I haven't
that's
done that in a long
Charlie's
time.
method.
Oh, that's Charlie's
Yeah,
method.
no, I think I swear we talked about this in a members only stream, and I was like, that makes sense because after middle school gym every day when we would all walk out of the locker rooms, us girls would just be like smacked by the cloud of Axe and body spray and whatnot. So I was like, I believe that could take out a small fly because it practically took out a group of 20, 13-year-old girls. So
It'll definitely work if you put a lighter underneath it.
Oh, all right. Anyway, Disney Plus Day tomorrow, and it's my sister's birthday. Oh my gosh. I hope for her sake there's some good, juicy gifts as a little birthday gift.
Happy birthday to your sister.
Yes. Hope you guys do something fun to celebrate. The stranger could be any of the wizards, even the 2 blue wizards that disappeared.
I mean, it has to be Sauron related because the links with it's not hot. It's fire, but it's not hot. And the whole thing in the first episode of it's fire and it's not hot. Like it's too perfect of a link to have that person not be related to Sauron or evil magic or something. Like it's too convenient that in back-to-back episodes there's fire that's not hot.
What was the other?
In the
Totally
when they fought the troll in that
oh
castle.
like the first 3 minutes of episode 1. Yeah. Would you rather be an elf, a dwarf, hobbit, or wizard? Everyone knows I want to be an elf. Guys, I was literally born to be an elf. Look at these ears. All right, these ain't prosthetics. These are real. I'm obviously pinching my cartilage together. But I would totally get surgery to like just give myself that little elf ear.
Grimes. Didn't Grimes get elf ear surgery?
No, I think she just wears prosthetics.
Oh.
I could be wrong. Now I gotta go look at a picture. But yeah, look, I was born. I was born for this. Actually, I have baby photos where when my ears were still little, like they were pointy. I want to be an elf so bad. But I think a long time ago on the channel, I did a BuzzFeed quiz that was like, what species would you be in Middle Earth? And the whole time I was like, please be an elf, please be an elf. And I think I got dwarf. So I was so salty about that. I was so salty. Now I gotta find that video. Yeah, I would want to be an elf. But a cool one. Not like an elitist one. Some elves definitely frown upon other species. Look at these here.
Yeah, dwarf. Eating the food and mead. Salted pork.
I still want to do a cat cooks video. I haven't done one in a long time because I've exhausted all of the super easy recipes in the Black Spire Outpost cookbook that don't require like that require nothing other than like a bowl and a fork to like mix things or spoon for making like the blue milk. So I want to do a lembas bread cat cooks and really go for it, like try to get some. I don't know how I would get the green paper that they wrap it in, the leaves, but I want to go all out, but I just do not have the baking materials.
Okay, that's what Alex just said.
What'd you say?
Should do limber bread.
Lembas bread, yeah, I want to. Want to so bad, like properly. Do you have a good recipe, Alex? Rabbit stew with potatoes. I'll try to find vegan rabbit or vegetarian rabbit alternatives. I'll just throw in vegetarian chicken nuggets. It ruins it. Oh yeah, and Tom's mouth got burned by the blue milk. Throwback.
Yes, it did. Still burned to this day.
Yes. Oh, I did see one on Instagram. I'll send it to you. Yes, please do. Yeah, I've been looking for a good recipe, and it seems like there's not like an official one out there. It's like people kind of just playing around till they figure out something that is stable. So if you saw one on Instagram, I would love to check it out. And then maybe I'll try to just make do with what I have. I literally don't have a rolling pin. I don't have a mixer. I don't have anything. So we'd have to level up our Cat Cooks gear before I proceed. That's the reason those episodes have been on hiatus. It's because I don't have anything. What's cooking, cat looking? Yes, I'm just glad people like those videos that much. So I need to I gotta get back into them. There are other beverage ones that were in the Black Spire Outpost cookbook that I could try. So maybe we can just do some of those in the meantime to stall before I can acquire more baking accoutrement. You should do a virtual Hobbit feast. Everyone dresses up and cooks their own food and mingles. Oh, that sounds so amazing. Yo, I kind of want to now. I'm gonna get into Hobbit core. Yes. Well, it's already, oh my gosh, it's already been an hour. I feel like we've only been talking for like not even that long. This is how long it's been since we've streamed. The time has already flown by. But yeah, I think I've said everything I want to say in regards to Rings of Power, and I didn't want this to be like a rant in any way about people aren't giving it a chance, like, but it's genuinely, I've not even, like, for Star Wars, after some Kenobi episodes, the first thing I would do is immediately go on Twitter and see what people were saying. Whether I liked it or, like, I would just go and see what the general consensus is. And I've found that it's interesting, because with Star Wars, it's easier, I'm way more susceptible to having my opinions swayed based on the words of other people. Like, if I see someone make a point about something or say XYZ is bad, I'm very, like, susceptible to thinking maybe it is bad or maybe it is good. Like, I just see other people's thoughts and it just influences me way too much. But for Lord of the Rings, like, I feel like I'm holding my ground. I'm like, no. When it comes to how I feel about Lord of the Rings, I'm very, like, I feel like I'm way more stable. I don't know why, but even still, I just haven't wanted to go online. And now, of course, it's trending because Elon Musk, I don't even know what he said, but, you know, when he says something, the whole world listens. So it's kind of like, we'll see. But I don't know. I'm just straight up. All I've seen on Twitter, I've not sought out any Lord of the Rings tweets, but the ones that I have seen by chance were positive. Like, it was, like I said, people saying, like, you have to be flexible with your mind and your vision because it's just an adaptation. Like, accept that it's not gonna look like what you want it to look like, you know. So it's definitely, like, the things I have seen have been okay, but I don't even want to do like a deep dive and see like some of the negative stuff that's already out there. But I really feel like the show is gonna not prove people wrong, but it's gonna like prove itself worthy as the season progresses. Like, just the fact that the second episode was even better than the first is a really good sign for me. Same with House of the Dragon. It was an amazing premiere. I was hooked. I'm gonna watch the whole seasons of both shows anyway, but House of the Dragon especially, I was like, this was a great first episode, and then the second episode, I was like, I'm even more excited now as things are developing. Like, that's a good sign when you're excited, like, your excitement keeps progressing. Not to keep shading Mando season 2, because obviously that's one of the best things ever for Star Wars, but to go from that amazing hour-long, like, mini-movie of a first episode, and then we got that second one, and everyone was like, huh? Like, you know, I'd prefer to keep just progressing my excitement.
Yeah, and that's the building of the main story arcs. I think Lord of the Rings case, it helps when you have multiple main protagonists that all have compelling stories.
Yeah.
Versus these shows where it's one character, it's like, okay, if we're supposed to have 6-8 episodes just around this character, how are we going to have 6 to 8 hours of actual one crucial plotline thread that keeps increasing? And so that's when we get the filler episodes, and the episodes where it's not focused on the main story, it's focused on our ship's broken, let's land, some side quest, then the ship's fixed, and then leave and keep moving on. Which is the first season of Mandalorian was much, in my eyes, much more frustrating from that perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Because the first 3 episodes were back to back to back, one crucial storyline. And then we don't pick up the main storyline until the 7th and 8th episodes. And then everything in between are not, as crucial to the storyline.
That's such a good point, though. And you make a point that I've been feeling. It's like these, I hope, the fact that the first 2 episodes are each like close to the hour mark, including credits. So maybe they're like 50-ish minutes. But that's that's what I wanted from this show, with the build up and the marketing and knowing the $1 billion budget. You read about that everywhere you look for Rings of Power. It's like, as soon as I saw you told me those episode lengths, I was like, that's how it should be. And they are perfect. Like, these episodes have been, the flow has been great because you do jump around. They're already establishing different characters you're going to be following, dwarf arc, people arc, elf arcs, like different ground to cover. Oh, the Harfoots, like so many different plot points, and it really helps just keep the episode flowing, so that, like, for me, if I'm watching an episode of TV and it's an hour long, I want it to be a good full hour that, like, when you're done, you're like, oh my god, it's over, versus like it feels like an hour and you're like, oh my god, I just kind of want to go watch the next episode already. Like, come on. These have been perfect. The flow, like, just the pacing, the fact that by the end I'm like, oh my gosh, that was an hour. Like, they feel so quick, but in just the right kind of way, versus other shows that the 30-minute episodes go back by like that and you're like, huh? So I hope they continue with these hour-long episodes, the pace in general. But that's also what made Game of Thrones one of the best shows ever. Like, there were 50 different plot points happening at some points during that series. So, it's just fun there's always something going on when you're following 50 different characters and whatnot. So I'm excited. Yeah, I think that's just a good formula, especially for these big fantastical shows, and for a series that takes place in Middle Earth. Like, I want to cover as much ground as possible. So that's why I'm kind of glad Galadriel and Hallbrand were discovered at the end of the 2nd episode. I'm like, I don't want them to be out on the open ocean for too long. It's like, no, like, get back to Middle Earth. I want to see, like, more of Middle Earth. Not that those boat scenes weren't cool. They were great. But I don't want to be in the water the whole time,
Yeah, more Witch King, always welcome.
Yeah.
Witch King is such a cool character. And the fortress itself is just such a cool place. Everything about it's cool. Yeah, Sudden Impulse, that guy is so cool. It is. It's so cool. Like,
yes.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
No one can kill me. Yes. We'll see. I hope there's more darkness to come. The fact that she jumped ship in the open ocean. I know, right? Oh, Joshua, my man. Good to see you. Hi, Gat and Tom. I've been really enjoying Rings of Power so far. I'm so happy to hear it. I have not read any Tolkien, so this story is all new to me. I'm really excited to see where this story goes. I love it. You're in
Glad
the
you enjoyed it so far.
same boat as Tom.
Yeah.
Yes. Was Galadriel's plan just to swim back? It didn't make sense. I also was like, what does she think she's gonna do? But
Elves are
yes,
professional swimmers.
no, I was like, obviously elves have really, she probably has heightened stamina and endurance compared to a normal human being. But it was clear even she got tired. She was ready to pass out. And she looked like freaking dehydrated and cold as heck when she washed up and found that other shipwrecked, little boat. So I guess you can't shipwreck in the ocean. You know what I mean? The other boat. but yes. Well, you get to see Sauron in his beautiful form. That's what I'm excited for. I know. I want to see, even just from the trailer, we've seen I want to see his devious. He's very sneaky and knows how to charm people to get them to listen to him. So I'm excited to see some of that. Well, I feel like I've said everything I want to. And it's also hot as Mustafar in Los Angeles, and we turn our air off when we stream. So I'm trying to be like, I gotta turn the air back on. So, anything else you want to say?
No, I'm just super excited for the next episode.
Yeah.
Very excited.
But I think this is going to be our new, at least for the month of September. Dork Discourse will be taking place on Wednesdays. Ideally, maybe not as late as it was tonight. Hopefully earlier, but we'll see. But for now, we're going to try to come back for Wednesdays. And I appreciate it. Somebody commented on the post when I announced this episode, that they want to see some House of the Dragon talk. So I would love to do that. I low-key, though, so behind. I haven't even watched the last Sunday's episode, so I still have to do that. That's why there hasn't been a reaction posted for that, because I haven't watched it yet. It's tough because I love filming reactions, and in hindsight, I'm always glad that I did them if something is cool, because you guys know I learned my biggest lesson and biggest I wish I had reacted to that was Mando season 2 finale. So that kind of is what inspired me to be like, all right, I gotta start filming my reactions. And it's fun to have them in hindsight, but at the time, when it's a Sunday night and I'm just I'm wearing my pajamas all day, it's I'd watch the episode if I could just sit on my couch and not have to have the camera on me. But when I film a reaction and you have to look camera ready, it's some nights I'm just not in the mood to do that. So that's why it's been a while. But yeah, I've seen good stuff on Twitter about it. So I need to watch it soon because people are saying that it was a really good episode. Aiden, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Stay cool. Never change.
You're a beast. Thank you, sir.
We will try. Enjoy your date. Good luck. Hope all goes well.
Enjoy.
Episode 3 is epic. That's all I can say. You're gonna love it. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah.
Heard good things.
Yeah.
Heard good things.
Eventually we're gonna be talking about Andor. Yeah, we're gonna try to ramp up the streams because especially coming into the end of this month, we're gonna have so many different things to talk about at once. So yeah, Andor especially though. We went to see Rogue One because they were showing it in certain select theaters along with a promo for Andor, and I think they actually released that scene. Have they not?
I don't think they released the full. It's online. You can find the whole scene. Yeah. But I don't think they released the full scene that we saw. Cause it was 10 minutes or so.
It was not 10 minutes, but I thought it was only going to be 30 seconds, but it was definitely I was this is a long promo, but it looked amazing what we saw. So I, of course, will be doing Andor reactions. One thing I will say is I just don't like staying up till where all these other shows. It's so much better. It's House of Dragon, if you're on West Coast, comes out at 6. That's a good time. Even if it's 9 on the East Coast, it's you know, it's still doable versus midnight. I just don't understand, but yeah. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain.
It's another question also. That's all.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're also in the midst of these heat waves that are going on, I hope you stay cool. And I hope everyone's just off to a great month so far. Happy September. Can't believe, ew, that's the first time I've like said that out loud. I cannot believe it's already, we're in the final stretch of 2020. Okay, I'm gonna throw up if I say that.
We're in the final third.
Stop. I can't. Sean, happy early birthday. Oh yeah, it's in a couple weeks. Oh my gosh. Well, we definitely will probably hopefully see you before then.
Yes.
But enjoy your sister's birthday tomorrow. And yes, D23. Oh my gosh, I have to be at the ready in case they drop trailers. So let's all manifest. Everyone take a moment. Think a good thought. Let's manifest this. Let's make it happen. Project that energy into the universe. We are going to get Mando Season 3 trailer. Mando Season 3 trailer. Mando Season 3 trailer. Acolyte trailer. Ahsoka trailer. Who knows? Any trailer. Anything. Fallen Order Part 2. Anything. Just anything. New show announcements. Anything at all. I'll take it. All right. Alrighty. Wow, I look so stupid doing that. When we stream, I see it play back as after we see the playback, and I just saw me manifesting, and that looks so. Thank you guys for putting up with me. Anyway, all right. We love you guys. It was so good to see you guys again. We're going to see you next week. We promise we are not going to drop off like we did for the past few months. But thank you to those of you who were here. It was so great to see you guys again. We missed you all. Hope everyone's loving all this content that we're getting. It is a time to be a nerd. And yeah, thank you for just all the nice for watching my reactions and stuff, because that is the fun part of doing reactions. I feel like I watch it with you guys, so thank you guys for watching those and sticking around. But we'll catch you guys. I'll hopefully react to House of Dragons soon. Hopefully maybe some reactions to film tomorrow if any new content or teasers drop. But until then, I will see you guys again very soon. Thanks for hanging out. Charlie, as always, all the mods, thank you guys for snapping that infinity gauntlet whenever needed in the chat. It is always much appreciated. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of their week, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon.
Talk to y'all later. Have a good evening.
Bye, friends.
See you next week.